It's really bright. Yodel dodel, Mr. Potts. What's
Yo,
up?
doodle, dude. How we
you
doing?
Fix that up.
How's that?
Oh, it's wonderful. Product placement, infinite.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
It's like we know each other or friends. We hang out.
Hey, I'm trying out. I know sometimes my earphones can be crackly or it sounds bad. I'm trying this call out with the earphones. Is it all right?
Yeah, you're good to go. If not, we'll let you know.
All right. Yeah. Just tell me and I'll pull them out.
Yep. I know AJ will, right, AJ? Yes. All right, guys. We are just waiting for more people to join. Killing some time here. Hey, Tara.
Hi.
You look like you're in the gym.
What's that?
You look like you're in a gym.
I'm in my garage. Just got back from swimming with the kids, so I have to run. So I'll be on mute when you guys are talking, so you don't have to hear me huffing and puffing on the treadmill.
All right. What events did they do?
So this was just like their summer league, like time trials. So they had to do all the strokes, but it's only 50s for summer, so it's not so bad for the year-round swimmers.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's actually perfect. Andy, you ready for this? Ready for this?
Yes.
Time? Tara said just, okay? It's just their summer league. It's just their meet. And today's topic, we're gonna talk about a lot of things, but our main topic was supposed to be race strategy. And here's the deal. It's not just a summer meet. It's not just an Olympic. It's not just a B race. It's a race. You get after it. And it means the world always, or nothing. It doesn't matter, but you know what I mean? So that's the mindset shift I think a lot of people need to have, is like, no matter what, it's not a just. You've entered this thing, you're putting yourself out there, you're putting yourself on the line. Let's treat it with the respect it deserves. Maybe your prep for it's a little different. Maybe your taper is a little different. But at the end of the day, you still at the start line and the switch goes off. That is critical.
Yeah. So I wonder why people,
but you know what I mean?
I wonder why people don't say, "Oh, it's just an Ironman." Like, like, if I said that, would you be like, "What is your problem?"
Yeah, probably. Well, I say what's your problem all the time anyway.
Yeah, this is true.
Or it's just my B race Ironman.
Yeah, sure. I think whenever you put your, like, if it is a race and you are putting your best foot forward, like, there shouldn't be qualified with a just. It's like you want to measure yourself to see where you are, like, against yourself. So just if you literally try your very best, that should never be qualified with So we had a couple of people do a 50 free this past weekend with AP Racing. Tanya and Vicente, they raced each other. Oh, it was heated, and it was only a 50.
And they're husband and wife, and they're still not talking to each other.
Well, that's what actually I was trying to tell my kids, like, being only 50s because it's summer league and it's not like the long courses are swimming now and their year-round team, but their turnovers, I was like, you're swimming your 100 or 200 pace. You got to have faster turnover. Like, you got to go all out. And my kids don't have that, like, edge, that competitive drive to just, like, leave it all out there. And it's something I don't even know how to teach them. But I also struggle with that when I get into the long course triathlon too, where I'm just kind of like in that zone and I'm like, not really, like, if I don't know, like, I finished an Ironman and I was like, oh, I feel fine. Maybe I should have gone harder, like, it's.
So we'll talk. We can talk about it a little bit today. Andy, were you going to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, it was actually, we do have sometimes specifically when you're doing half or an Olympic or any type of endurance race, like, so even a sprint is an hour, your body gets used to this one speed. And what we like to do is say, okay, all you're looking for is a change in the effort to change the way it kind of feels. It kind of feels a little heavier, a little grindy. And if you just change the effort, you're gonna start to feel better. So a lot of people, if they're stuck in third gear, they're like, okay, what do? I'm going to shift down to second gear. Well, what if like every fourth time, every sixth time you feel crummy, you're just kind of stuck, you shift up into fourth gear, like, and then your body starts to feel better and you just go faster. It doesn't work every time. I will say that. You can't just keep shifting up, but if you're at like 20% of the time, you're like, okay, this time I'm going to try to actually shift faster. And then your body's like, oh, it welcomes the change.
Yeah. Sometimes you detonate, but it's okay.
It does. Yes.
Yeah. You got to put on the line. All right. So I think we got a quorum here, Andy. Would you like to get started?
Yeah. So we were talking before about racing, but this is one big community. We decided, we've been doing a few different Zooms, and this week we have, along with AP Racing, we have Team Sparrow in our Ask Us Anything, because we are one big community as triathletes. Unfortunately, we had lost a member of our awesome group, Marshall, at Ironman 70.3 Chattanooga. He had a bike accident. Crash. And he suffered fatal injuries. And this is not the first time here at AP Racing that we've had a death in triathlon. Very sad. We do these sports because we love them. We do this because it provides a community, and we do this to share our joy of what life can be all about. And Marshall was a beacon for the community in that regard. Really embodied what it meant to put his best foot forward, engage a community, support others. And it's a tragic loss.
Yeah. For all of us, I mean, especially the Sparrow team, we all, and for the AP Racing team who don't know, Marshall was really the epicenter of kind of like the spirit of the Sparrow team and keeping it going. And so it felt hard, just like when Brian passed away at AP Racing. And so I think we all, like, similar to we've talked about in the past, when we go out and we train and we exercise, we should really savor our opportunity to do that, savor our moment. And it's a tribute to people like them, like Marshall, like Brian, to be able to go out there and do it and, be thankful to be able to do it. So let's continue to do those things and honor those guys. From the Sparrow team, and if anyone would like to say anything about Marshall right now, we'd open the floor to you guys as well. More than welcome to. If not, that's fine too. We're going to talk a little about this as well. We wanted to give everyone the opportunity to talk if they wanted to. If that's I'll give it another second. Sorry. Okay. I can tell you my personal experience. I've known Marshall about 6 months now, I want to say. And he's one of those guys for me that, like, similar to, again, Brian, at first I was like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about this guy. I don't. And then it's like one of those acquired tastes, like, oh my God, this guy's amazing human being. And like all he does is exude energy and caring and love for everyone around him and wants to see everyone do great and succeed. So for the AP Racing team, for the Sparrow team, big loss. We're going to do a bunch of different things to help pay tribute to Marshall over the next couple months and years. So be on the lookout. We've had a ton of ideas come in. We're just trying to sort through them all and figure out what's best as a group, best for everyone, and best to respect him and his family's wishes. So just be on the lookout. We talk about everything from like commemorative socks with his logo to a special jersey to logos on the jersey next year, maybe doing something at a race like they did this last weekend in his hometown. So be on the lookout, and we'll keep everyone abreast of all the ideas. If you have something or something you want to do, let us know as well. Sound good? Cool.
Yeah, one of the biggest things Daniel hit on, I'm just gonna echo it, is when you have the spirit of someone like Marshall and someone like Brian, their whole ethos was giving back and living life to your fullest. So that would be I really implore you guys to know that life is short, life is precious, life is bigger than sport, but like that, the sport is kind of what life is about. It's why it's one of the core social utilities behind the sport as a whole. So when you're out and about getting after it, just know that like they're going to be your biggest cheerleaders. They're going to be your that wind at your back. And you know, I would just embrace the passions that you have, because that's what, you know, these people would want for you.
Yeah, and kind of segueing a little bit is like anyone that was at Chattanooga or other races, Tara and I were talking about this yesterday, and you got to meet up with the team and meet up with these people, you feel it and you feel the community. So as we go throughout the year and we have more team races and events, take advantage of it. It's going to make your experience so much better. I know we have some smaller events coming up, but I think our next big one is for everyone here, including our Raise the Bar group who's out of the Northwest, is Ironman 70.3 Oregon. So if you're doing that race, be on the lookout for things we're doing as a group, calendar invites, stuff like that. And let's celebrate the fact that we all get to do this together.
Yeah. Specifically, this Saturday, if you are going to Boulder 70.3, I will be there. I'll have our team tent. This tent is black. It says AP Racing on it, and it has the Hoob logo on it as well. Well, it will be in the Tri Club Village. I'm going to go set it up on Friday, like late morning. That is where we will convene pre-race, day before, right after the race, hopefully weather pending, it stays nice, can hang out in the reservoir, enjoy the vibe of a race. So be on the lookout if you're going to Boulder. Even if you're not racing, that'll be our community touch point, is in the Tri Club Village at the AP Racing black tent.
Yeah, and I'll send out a couple calendar invites if I haven't already on Facebook, so you can RSVP or just get information, which will create like a messenger group too for you guys. Sound good? Cool.
I think we're gonna have like a bike pump there if you need it, a couple chairs, you know, nothing crazy, just a place to meet up.
Andy will be doing massages post race for all you guys. All right. All right, Mr. Potts. Today we're supposed to talk about racing. Race strategy, having your best race, figuring out that magic bullet, that one thing that makes a race good or not. Do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to?
So magic bullet, there isn't one. It is about a confluence of a bunch of details that come together that create flow and that create that moment. We spoke before how to make an experience really resonate and make it a sticky thing for you. I'd like for each of you guys in your own head, think about the last 2, 3, 4 races you've done in the swim. Right now, think about the swim. Swim when you're in it, and then when you're in the thick of it, you think it's like, oh my gosh, will this swim end? I don't know. Like, I've got to keep my stroke up. Where's the buoy? Where's the sun? Oh, why does this foot keep hitting me? I can't believe this person's. But in the grand scheme of things, when you walk away from that night or that weekend, you don't really remember the swim in too many details, unless it's like crazy traumatic. But you will remember like the one, I always come back to this, but like we'll go out to a breakfast and Jose F will get the bill. And like, that's just small things like that. So when you look at race strategy and race prep, you try not to be overwhelmed in the moment. Like I said before, if you get a little stuck, you can always shift down or shift up. Every fifth time, you probably should shift up to see what it feels like. And the race strategy really starts maybe 3 days out in terms of the specific, but the meat and potatoes of race strategy is all about like how you prepared leading into it. The 2 weeks out, the 6 weeks out, the 3 months out. Like what were you doing? Were you dotting your I's and crossing your T's at that moment? And then on race day, it is a matter of making sure you remember the details in the moment. One of the biggest challenges that I would push onto everybody is on race day. Let's say your race takes 300 minutes, okay? 300 minutes. Can you focus for 300 minutes on the singular task at hand? Whether that be prepping your bike, warming up, executing a swim, executing T1, the bike, T2, the run. When you're on the run, you should be thinking about the run. When you're on the swim, fingertips down. Exhale when your face is in, inhale when your face is out. Find a rhythm, be very methodical and rhythmic with it, and challenge yourself. Like, so for an Ironman, when I prepare for an Ironman, I prepare to focus for 500 minutes. That's a long time to focus. I've never once been successful at focusing for 500 minutes. I've been successful, but at the pure fact of like, how do I not let my mind wander and stay steady with the task at hand is very difficult. And you can use some cues that are around you in your daily life that are resonating. Like, so I remember one time my son was into this one TV show, and it's called Max Speed. I think it was called Max Speed, Max Steel. Anyway, I don't know that name. Anyway, he was into it.
It was a max.
Yeah, and he would go max speed, and he would like zoom really fast. He like the character would go really fast, right? And we would just kind of goof around. We were playing, and I remember in a race at transition, or not at aid stations, I would grab a bottle or whatever I need, and I would say to myself and I know I did this every aid station. I'd put it, either take a sip, put it in the frame, or put it in my pocket. Max speed, and I'd go back down into max speed. And it doesn't have to be that focus that you have. It doesn't have to be strictly related to triathlon. You can use the things that influence you and impact you, and that are the biggest beacons and the biggest heartbeat for your life, and use them to power you to your focus. And that would be the biggest challenge I have when it comes to race strategy.
Yeah. All right. So Andy, I know a lot of what you do, and most of us, our success is dependent on how well we do, whether it's a PR or we win, right? But is a race defined by your position, your place, or if you have a PR or not?
I think when you perform well, you tend to, when you have a positive experience, when you have a really positive experience, you tend to think favorably about the specific race, the bike you rode, the restaurant you went to, the town you're in, the airport to that town, all these other things you're associating with a positive experience, whether those things contributed to it or not. Now, in terms of self-worth, are you doing the little things to make it so it was a good day? I do think that giving your very best effort and staying concentrated and focused on the task at hand should be probably your biggest driver towards if a race was successful or not. What are the key, and then you always need to have a takeaway. What are the key lessons learned? And then how do you apply them to move forward?
All right. Yeah. I mean, because we can't always measure success by place or by finish. It's sometimes based on everything else you just said. I think back like to some of my racing. One of my best races or favorite, or like I came away from feeling so great about, was one of my worst races I ever had. I mean, I think back a long time ago, like 2007, 8, I want to say, and I went like 11 hours at Ironman France in Nice.
But this was the best race you've ever,
No,
like one of the best.
No, it was one of my best memories, and like I feel great about it. It was a horrible race. But I think back to it and I'm like, I had a great swim. I swam with the lead group. I felt awesome. The bike ride was beautiful. I pushed really well. I was in control. I passed out on the run and laid down for a while. But then I got up and I went again. And so like, I felt great about myself that I was able to like lay down, fall asleep in the grass somewhere and then wake up and then go run and run great. So like, you have to figure out what you're measuring success for, but and this isn't a good example of it. Andy and I talk all the time. The key to a successful race, and I'm not talking about feeling, I'm talking about like being a good racer is be able to control the race, not having the race control you. So we all hear about the times when like, oh, the wheels just fell off, or like I wanted to give it and I just couldn't give it. Like I just didn't have it, right? And sometimes it's hard. And even like Andy and I were talking about yesterday, like after mile like 20, like what were we saying? Like in an Ironman, you're like, oh, I'm running like, I don't know, 640s right now. You know what? I'm gonna go to 620s. And then we just do it. But a lot of times you can't just do it. But like when you can, that's when you know you're executing well. So the trick to all this is how do you prepare yourself to control the race versus having the race control you? Right? That's really what you have to start thinking about. So when Andy said 3 weeks out, 5 weeks out, the way we build training, right? And Andy, we just talked about this actually. You build your physiology to a certain point, right? That can handle the demands of training. Then you work from the racing. And you're like, what is the demand of the race? What is the kilojoule burn for the race? What is the power I'm gonna have to push? What is the pace I'm gonna have to run? And what is the heat, energy expenditure? And then I work backwards to where my physiology is. And if you can do that, then you can execute on race day and there's no surprises or very little. At the end of the day, you're still putting yourself on the line like we talked about earlier and things could happen, but you have to prepare for that. So as you start thinking about race strategy, people going to Finland, people going to Kona, people going to their whatever race, doesn't matter. Boulder next weekend, a little close for that. You got to think about, all right, this race requires this energy expenditure. It requires this many spikes and surges and watts. It requires all these different things. Now, how do I work backwards to figure out what I got to do? It's not simply a miles thing or a time thing. It comes down to energy expenditure. Make sense?
Yep, totally. Yeah. So as you build the framework within your muscles and your heart and your cardiovascular system, and you start to work on the details, sometimes you're going to need inspiration along the way. If you always go to a bank of inspiration, I do feel like the inspiration bank needs to, you can deplete it. It can be refilled again, but it just takes time. Now, bear with me here. So we talk about motivation. Sometimes the motivation can run dry, but that's where discipline will come in and really drive that train. Now, when it's specifically, because we're talking race strategy and how it works, have you ever been in a benign or standard or usual or just the daily and then have a song play? And then there's a little bit more like, oh, this song is taking me from where I am now to a different spot. What I'd like for you to think of when you go to race is your competitors They're the tune. They're the song. They're going to bring you to a place that you may or may not have been able to get to by yourself. And therefore, you can measure yourself with competition if you put your best foot forward. Some of my best races aren't when I win. Well, a lot of them are, but I've had some really great races where I finished second or third or fourth. I remember one time I was racing up in Vancouver, Canada, and I was racing. It was quite good. Back in the day, you guys, his name is Simon Whitfield. He was the first Olympic gold medalist we ever had in the sport of triathlon. And it was more or less his hometown. And he and I were battling for the win at the end. And Simon ended up getting me by like 1.8 seconds or something. He just beat me at the end. It wasn't like a lean, but he outkicked me in the chute. And I had a great race. I was really happy. I had smile ear to ear. I know I wouldn't have been able to have that type of physical performance without Simon and without him demanding more from me. So yeah, I wanted to win, but my race wasn't wrapped up in winning. It was wrapped up in getting my best. And I used my competition to help me get there. So I would think of your competition like your favorite instrument or your favorite song and allow you to take you to places that you can't go to by yourself.
Do you remember when we used to talk about Nike, the Border Clash, and that speech that the founder gave that one year, Potts?
I don't remember this.
Yeah, so Nike has a race called the Border Clash. It's, I think, Oregon versus Oregon State, Oregon versus Washington. It's a cross-country meet every year. It's massive. And one year they had a speaker. I think it was one of the founders of Nike. I don't remember who, maybe one of the old coaches. And he said, look around the room. I was just like, you look around the start of a race site. You don't have competitors. You have co-conspirators. And you're all conspiring for your best together. And you all conspire to help each other find your best. And so just relevant to what you're saying, and it's 100% true. And when you do that, you think of it less from a point of aggression, but a point of like group like lift, if that makes sense at all.
We're not saying you need to be everybody's cheerleader. Like, hey, you're doing great, everybody. Keep coming. You can want to rip their head off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it helps you to cheer other people around, go for it.
Yeah. Especially your teammates. Let's go, teammates.
Yeah.
Come on.
It is fun, like whether you're going one way or the other, or you kind of coming up on someone you see that you're on your team. It is always fun to be like, yeah, we're in this together. Like, and you can give a little love and it'll boomerang back to you. That's always fun.
Yeah. Andy, if you don't mind, I'm gonna do a very general race strategy for 99% of people and 99% of races. And if you disagree, you let me know. Because I'm sure people want to know this. Okay. So whether you're racing half Ironman, even Olympic distance race, these are the things we typically get in terms of like, it's pretty standard, the strategy for most age groupers. Pro race is very different. If you're racing for podium spot, it's different as well. But typically, right? Swim. Start off strong, but not out of control. Okay. Build your effort. Every time you hit a buoy, either increase your cadence, increase your stroke rate, go a little faster, at least for a little bit. And then you could settle back in just enough to give you a little bump, or just continue building. That goes throughout the swim. It's the way it should go. All right. Bike, not bad out of hell, but strong. You should be up to speed and going fairly quickly. But power hour is the last hour of any race. Late power is the most important thing on a bike. So if you do not prepare yourself to have the last hour be like one of your best, you're in trouble. And you didn't race properly. So you want that last hour to be strong. I'll do a half marathon, but it's about similar for a marathon if you take the proportions out on the run. Miles 1 to 2.5, 3, just run. Don't even look at your watch. Just settle in, chill. We're going good. 3 to 4, building effort. Build, get stronger. And this isn't like going from like 10-minute miles to 7 miles. This is like going from like 7 to 6:55 or 6:50 3 at most. Like it's not drastic. If you're being drastic, you did it wrong. Okay. Build. That's to about 7 or so. 7 to 10, steady. You're just waiting at that same pace you're at.
This is plenty.
Yeah, you might need to change cadence, or you might need to change stride length. You might need to change something to maintain that pace because you're getting more tired. The course is changing, but that's about where you want to be. Steady. 10 on. Oh, I'm feeling good. Let's give it a little more. At this point, this is usually like 21 or so in a marathon, 23 maybe. You might have to increase your effort a bunch. Like effort's going up, but pace is not. Like the ideal is pace goes up, or effort goes up, pace goes up, or effort stays, pace goes up, whatever. But it might be pace stays the same, but effort has to go up. Build doesn't necessarily mean the pace gets better. It's just staying, but you got to work harder because you get more and more tired. Get to the finish line, celebrate like a madman or mad woman or man person. And that's how you race almost any race you can do. I know that's really generic, but that's more or less strategy. And for an Ironman, it's very similar, believe it or not. You got anything else to add or anything else to think about, Andy, when you talk about that?
No, I would look at power hour being the best indicator for building momentum and focus into your run. Yeah. I would play it pretty smooth on the first bit of the bike. You think people will go right away and never be seen again? Not necessarily the case. If you are competing for a podium spot, at the end of the run, 3 to go, 5 to go, whatever it is, you could almost double your effort and maybe even go a little slower. But if you didn't double it, you'd go twice as slow. Yeah. And I really like the building at each buoy. Try to have the buoys be your refocus on the swim. The last thing is, all the while you need to do a assessment of listening to your body, and your body will. The most important thing is not cutting yourself off at the neck. Listening to what your body is telling you. If your body is saying, "I need water," at the next aid station, you should grab water. Don't grab pretzels. Grab water. If your body is saying water. If your body is saying, I need a little spark, then I would go with cola or something with something caffeinated gel the next time you fuel. Every time you're riding up on an aid station, or you're running up on an aid station, you have to do a personal inventory. What's on board your bike? What's on board your person? Do you have what you need? And then you say, okay, I don't have water. I'm going to huck a bottle. I'm going to grab water first. Then I'm going to grab something else. So personal inventory before every aid station, listening to your body. It'll be talking to you.
Yeah, you opened up a can of worms there. Nutrition is race nutrition is an entire, I don't know, week, month, hours of topics in itself. The one thing I can say, and same thing with your racing, is be flexible. So yeah. we had a coach's hours the other day with some of our athletes, and they were talking about their plan and what's on course versus what's not, right? And carrying your own stuff. At the end of the day, this goes back to, what is my energy expenditure? What am I feeling on that day? Not cutting ourselves off, right? And then knowing, right? Having experience, knowing, oh, listen, I carried all my nutrition because I know what I need and I want, and I love my stuff, but then I dropped the bottle. Well, what does that mean, right? Well, I typically need to take in 350 calories an hour. How can I get that now? Oh, they have Gatorade that has this much, so I can use that. Or they have this, so I can use that. I can use this Martin gel or whatever it is that they have on course. And so having understanding of what you need and then what's out there really helps you. As they say, or they said it as I was a kid, knowledge is power. But here's the caveat to all that. It changes all the time. So like every race is actually a little bit different. Every experience, you are different every race from one to the next. So you have to be flexible, adjustable, and listen to yourself, like Andy was saying. we talked a little about like preparing ourselves for race day. So race day is not a surprise. We talked about physiology. We talked about the demands and requirements of racing, at least a little bit. Not to do a shameless plug here, but all this stuff can be confusing, can be difficult, or it's easy for you. But the good news is we can help. So if you are coached by us now, you just have to ask. If you're not coached by us, or let's say you're on a plan and you want to get more help and you want to upgrade to Potsheads Plus, or you want to upgrade to one-on-one, or you have nothing and you just want to move to a plan, guess what we're going to do? For the next week, we're going to do 50% off for the first month for an upgrade, or $50 off if you're going to a custom plan. Don't worry, I'll send an email about it. I know what you current one-on-one athletes are thinking. Well, how can I move up anymore? This isn't fair. Guess what? It is fair because you got a gear credit and you got a bunch of other benefits that these people are not going to get. So you're good to go. If you got a problem with it, you let me know and we'll talk about it out back. I mean, only kidding. We'll just talk about it and you'll realize I'm right. So if you want help with your coaching and figuring all this nonsense out, we'll help you. I'll send an email about it. Sound good, Potts?
Sounds great.
All right. So you got anything else to say about race strategy? Anyone have questions? Because I have a few rapid fire questions and logistics for all groups. Questions, anyone? Peanut gallery? All right, Potts, I'll start us off. I don't wait very long these days. How do you prepare when you have a race with time zone differences? For example, everyone that's going to Finland from the East Coast or from the West Coast or whatever.
Yeah. So about 6 days out, I'll start to change my body clock a 1 hour a day. That's about what it takes, is 1 hour a day. So you have to know the time difference in the time zone. If I'm within 4 time zones, I do nothing, because when race shows up, it's just let's go. Specifically, if you're going east to west, that will play in your favor. Otherwise, it's about an hour a day. The biggest tip I can give for you when you get to the place where you're going is within each morning, for the first 3 mornings, what you want to do is you want to go outside, okay, not through a window, and you don't want to wear sunglasses, okay? So you physically go outside and you take in the sunshine. You take it in with your eyes. So your eyes are being your biggest medium with which you need to receive the sunlight, and that will help you adapt the fastest. And you need about 5 to 7 minutes of outside time, no sunglasses and windows. You can't just open your shade and say, this is good. You physically have to go outside. That's my number 1 tip. And then otherwise, I start to go to bed a little earlier or a little later. I try to manipulate it just a little bit, about anywhere between 3 to 6 days out. I start to try to get ready for a difference in time zone.
Yeah, it's about an hour a day. Like Andy said, it's a good rule of thumb that you can adjust your eating as well. There's actually a big study that came out recently about getting morning sunlight like that, just as a general health benefit for people and to help with their circadian rhythms as well. Yeah, of course you do. If you didn't know, Potts is not a doctor, but he plays one on podcasts. So here we go. I think that's great advice. Okay, any other questions? If so, you can just say it or put it in the chat. If not, I'm going to go through some logistics here. Sound good for everyone? Cool. Seems good. Can only see Andy and Catherine, so sounds good to me. Hey. All right, so logistics. Gear. Team Sparrow. Hats are going to be in towards the end of next week, so they'll go out right after that. I just have to pack them up myself and ship them out. So you'll get them in the next, I'd say, 2 weeks about. AP Racing. Hats are in and will be uploaded to the site for you guys to purchase and wear and represent with. So that'll be in the next week or so too. Team Sparrow. We are working through releasing a limited release championship kit for Finland and for Kona and France. I hate saying that, but okay. And so be on the lookout. We're working on design right now. Finland might be a tight turnaround, but we're trying to make sure if it'll work or not. Get ready. As we mentioned, we have a lot of stuff going on, trying to figure out the best things for doing a tribute to Marshall. Everything from t-shirts, hats. We might do a kit for the team and for the local tri community down where he's from. Again, be on the lookout. Camps. Okay, from our AP Racing crew, no eye rolls, please. I know what you're gonna say. Don't give me any eye rolls here. All right, here's the deal. This year was tough to make timing and interests intersect with each other. Most of that was my fault and Andy's because we just had a lot more going on in different areas of things. So we were so bullish on that Blue Ridge camp, and it's not going to happen. We just can't make it happen when you guys can do it and we can do it. But this opens up a great opportunity, and so we're going to get so far ahead of it this year that we're going to announce most of our camps, and they're not going to be canceled, I promise you, in the next couple weeks. Here's the way it's looking for AP Racing and for Sparrow. In February, we'll do 2 camps. Pat, did you want to say something?
No, I'm just going to tick them off with you
Yeah, we're going
because
to
we've been over this.
in Southern California, one for the Sparrow team, one for the AP Racing team. And we will do we'll combine it with going to the Sparrow factory and tours and sales and some insider stuff and hopefully get some gear at that time too, which should be sick.
I was looking at February for that.
February, it's looking like. In May, Todd, who I see is on here. What's up, Todd? He inspired us. And so we're partnering with our Brazilian sister club down in Brazil. And we're going to do a camp in Mallorca that's a conjunction with Mallorca 70.3. So that'll be in May. I think the race is like May 11th or 12th or something like that. It was like last week. Or no,
Mallorca, that's not in America, is it?
No, it's in Spain. It's an island off the coast of Spain, close to Barcelona. Yeah. So that's gonna be a big one. And we're gonna combine it with the race so you can go over and race too. So it'll be like an 8 or 10 day camp with a couple of days off right before the race. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait to go to Mallorca. It is so good. Get your passports ready. Maybe global entry too. It could help. Then in July, we'll either do another camp, and this will be open to everyone because one big happy family, either in Colorado Springs at Olympic City, USA, or up in Summit County. The main thing that we need to figure out, we're still working through, is guaranteeing we have a place to stay because that's what happened this year, because it's an Olympic year. So that is the plan for next year, and that is what is going to happen. Unless no one shows up, and then just Andy and I are going to go out and train. But it'd be cooler if more people showed up. Way cooler, I think. Everything's funner with friends, and I'm getting sick of following them around. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, cool. I hope that works for you guys.
Yeah,
cool. And then race stuff. So that's kind of, we wanted to give you updates on all those things. Is there anything we're missing you guys want to hear about? Again, post up, ask, go, and then we will send out emails and Facebook posts about all this stuff. Hope you guys didn't mind we did it all together today. We found we kept on repeating ourselves over and over again when we did a couple of these, and that wasn't super fun. Plus, at the end of the day, like Andy said at the beginning, triathlon community is small. We're all connected, and everything is more fun with more friends. It's just the way I feel. So let's go.
Okay. All right. So I don't see anything more in the chat. I think.
Nope, he turned off his camera and his mic. All right, I guess I will say goodbye. So if there's nothing else, I've been saying for a long time, you always hear people say like peace or deuces, right? Like it's really cool. Lately, I don't know if this is a thing or not. I've been saying twos, not ones, but twos. Like I just think it's cool, like twos. So everyone have a great day. Twos, everybody.
Right back.